Hi everyone, I welcome you all to our new lecture, A Story of Lies, Betrayal and Deceit. So let's go back in time. There was a kingdom called Sultanpur, which was ruled by the King Sultan, and the king was very much, or the king or the ruler was very much fond of extending its territory by conquering the land of the enemies or the neighboring countries. One day, uh, what happened is the king of Sultanpur decided to conquer one of the neighboring countries. So he ordered his generals as well as his commanders to just go and surround the neighboring country from all directions along with their troops. So after listening to this order, um, what happened is the commanders as well as the generals, they went and they surrounded the enemy uh, this way from all directions. Like the commanders, this is our general. General is someone who actually is superior to the commanders and who gives commands to the commanders. Okay, and the only way the general can communicate with the commander is through message passing through the messengers. So, this was a situation around the enemy country where the general as well as the commanders were surrounding the country or the boundaries of the country along with their troops. So, in this situation, the commander as well as the general had only two choices, either to attack on the enemy or to retreat back. Retreat means refraining from attack and going back. So, and one more thing to note down here is the Sultanpur army was just strong enough to like defeat the enemy army if they all perform or if they all perform or launch a coordinated attack. This was not the case. Then what would happen is they all would end up dead and end up in chaos. And let me explain you what I actually mean by that coordinated attack. So when the commander and the general, if they all attack at the same time simultaneously on the enemy, that would result in winning. Okay, and in other case, if something like this happens where one attacks first, then the general attacks, then maybe in this sequence or in some sequence, and if not coordinated attack, then that would end up uh, in defeat, and these all would be dead. So this is not something which is favorable, and they would love to end up with. So that this is what I actually meant by coordinated attack. Okay, so let's uh, and let me tell you what all are the uh, essential components of this plan. One is the general, second is the commanders. You'll understand why I'm mentioning all these things here. Third one is messengers. Okay, so let me show you what would happen if everything is in place and everything goes right and as planned. Okay, so this is the enemy kingdom. Sorry for my bad handwriting, can't help with that. uh, these are the commanders in place. This is our general, and this is one more commander, and they can communicate only through message passing. Okay, so let's assume that the king or I mean this general wants to send an order to attack on the enemy. So the they just take the order which is given by the general, and it passes it to the commander. So let's say this is a messenger which sends A and A here, and after receiving the order from the commander, the message from the command from the this person general, they all perform a coordinated attack, and this would lead to a winning situation, a win. Okay, this is something good for the army, right? For the uh, Sultanpur army. Let's take another case where the general passes an order to retreat back. Okay, message passing. I think I need to draw this for every diagram. Can't help with that. Okay, okay. So it passes an order to retreat. Messengers passes the same to the commanders. Okay, so they all retreat back by refraining themselves by from attacking, and of course they don't win here because they haven't attacked, but at least there's no loss of life, no loss of life, no loss of life. Okay, so by now you must be thinking this is really simple and quite to say sounds like a plan, right? But let me remind you one thing, that every army has got its own share of traitors who betray them when the army needs them the most. Okay, and you will soon understand why I said this, because right now I am going to show you multiple situations or scenarios where this plan can fail disastrously. Okay, so let's take the first condition here. First scenario, um, and in the first scenario, the messenger is a traitor. And when I'm saying messenger is a traitor, what does that mean? Messenger is a traitor means um messenger is a dishonest person, whereas the other people are honest and they follow the orders given by the general. So, and then what the messengers does is they simply send wrong information or they spread misinformation to confuse the commanders. For example, let's take this example where the general passes an order to attack. Okay, and let just for clarity purpose, let me show the traitor using this green. The messenger who sends the message to this path to this commander is a traitor. Okay, so all other messengers, they're honest and they would pass the same message as it is, but this would pass wrong information to retreat. So what will happen is after receiving the message from the general, this would the general would attack the this commander would attack it. This commander would also attack, but after receiving the message to retreat, this would retreat back. And what would happen ultimately is, since this is not a coordinated attack, they would all end up dying. And this is something which has happened because of the messenger who was the traitor and who has spread the false information to the commanders, right? This is not something which is favorable, and this is uh, the reason for the defeat of the kingdom. Okay, uh, let me talk about the second condition here, which could fail this whole plan, where the commander is a traitor. Commander is traitor. And here the general as well as the messengers, they are all honest and they pass the information what they receive. But the commander, and let's assume that only one of the commander is a traitor. Let me highlight that commander using a red color, maybe this way, since he's a traitor. Looks good, right? Okay, so let's assume that the commander passes an order to attack. So, and the messengers passes the same order to all the commanders. They do their duty. The messengers have done their duty. Honestly, after receiving the message, this commander attacks. The general attacks. Even this commander attacks. But this commander, being a traitor, it refrains back. That would lead to these commanders and this general dying. Okay, and this is not something which is again favorable for the army. This again leads to defeat, or I would say something like failure of the plan, right? So this was a second condition which could fail the plan disastrously. Let me talk about the third condition here. And third condition is really surprising, because here in this condition our general itself is a traitor. It's quite shocking, but yeah, that's one of the possibilities. So enemy. Okay, and here all the commanders and all the messengers, they all are honest and they pass the information or act upon the information as they get. And since the general is traitor here, what it does is it sends confusing information to the commanders. Like it passes an information to attack, maybe retreat, or maybe attack to different commanders. And after getting the information from or getting the message from the messengers, this commander would attack, this would refrain, this would attack, and the general may refrain from attacking. So what will happen is this commander as well as this commander would end up dying because of this misinformation, which has happened because of the confusing or the conflicting orders which are given by the general to the messengers. So this was the culprit here. This, I forgot to put that sign to the general. He was the culprit, or he was the traitor here. Okay, so in these three scenarios I've shown you how the things can go wrong and how the plan can fail here. So let me get back to my slides. So can you answer this question? Just think about where the things have gone wrong and try to answer this. And if you're not able to get this correct, I'll answer this question in my next lecture. I hope you all liked this. Thank you. Bye bye.